Whoa. I have found something that looks like a red panda. Sorry. So this is VR. Whoa. I'm gonna see if people want to play chess. That should be fun. Whoa. Okay, so I had the black pieces in this game. And I don't know anything about my opponent. So they started with e4 and I decide let's go for a Sicilian. This way I can probably really quickly figure out what their skill level is. So they develop the knight. I decide to play d6. I might play like a Najdorf. I've played a lot of Sicilians. I played it with e6 as well. Got some good positions. But they go for this stuff. Okay. I think this is called the Bowdler attack. The target in f7. And I don't have to react immediately. I could play e6. That would be a fine move. I was thinking knight f6, but I remember there's some line with pawn e5. I'm not sure. They go for this attack. I see what you're planning. You can tell I'm laughing about it a little bit. I just push my pawn to e6. This way I block the line and yeah, that should be good. So now they don't really have an attack. They could bring the queen out, but that is committing too much. There's not much going on in terms of an attack at this point. They played the alternative queen h5, but this is already not that fantastic. I'm thinking here a little bit. I know that I'm gonna play g6, but at times like this, when you know your opponent made a mistake, I just like to slow down a little bit. I'm saying at this point I know g6 should be good for me, especially because my queen is having pressure on the knight on g5, and it's currently not defended by a bishop. That's right. So yeah, I'm playing g6. Like I'm saying, it's a good way to develop my position. And like if they go queen h5, queen h4 for example, just bishop e7, and now you need to play like d3. Anyway, at that point I can play h6 because there's a pin. So that's just the type of stuff I was thinking about. So my opponent probably realizes that it doesn't look great for them, so they decide to go there. Which is a move for sure. There's a bunch of stuff I could be doing. Like the engine says just play like knight f6 or pawn h6. I have the engine open with me right now. I didn't do that. I saw knight e5, which is a fork. Now you can play bishop b5 check, which is what I was thinking about. This is fine. But I thought this move kind of has to be correct. But I guess I was being very optimistic, thinking I would win the knight outright. Fortunately for me though, my opponent didn't find bishop b5 and instead it dropped back. Now the knight is just hanging. So I could either take the knight immediately, which I was thinking about, or I could take the bishop first. I was thinking more traded's better. Apparently this is a slight mistake, because now they can sack on f7, which my opponent didn't see. A bit sloppy by me, but this was also my first game and I wasn't used to board fishing this way. Now sometimes you have to be careful about like the deep pawn moving, but here that's just nothing. Okay, so they give a check. Just block, of course. But yeah, now the deep pawn is actually pinned because the bishop's unguarded. But I see a lot of beginners blunder a piece like that. Yeah, so now the queen is hanging. So they should honestly take on b7. And then I have to decide how I want to... If I want to defend my rook or move it. I probably would have gone like rook d8 or c8. I can see the engine's top line is queen back to d8, but I don't know. Right. Okay, so they go pawn h4. Out of excitement of trading queens, I missed a pretty easy win here with queen takes g2. Which of course hits the rook, the queen's still hanging, so that's completely winning. But okay, I was like, let's trade queens, that sounds good. This is of course slightly less good. At this rate, I'm just up so much material. So I converted the game quite nicely, actually, and then let's just move on to the next one, because it wasn't that interesting. This game is a lot more interesting already. My opponent played an actual opening. Then playing knight f6 should honestly be a giveaway that they might be slightly stronger, but we'll see. So they go like pawn e6, and I play knight f3. I'm thinking I don't want to allow some limso, and maybe we can see a Catalan. That might be fun. Which is not an opening I usually play. Usually if I push my deep pawn, I just play the queen's gambit, but I just want to have some fun. So they play the Benoni. I usually don't play knight f3, so the Benoni from this move order is kind of strange to me. Especially I prefer the Benoni where they play c5 on the first move. In that case I can push d5, and there are a lot of setups where you go knight c3 instead of pawn c3 and get a quick e4 in. This is a move order of the Benoni that I'm not at all familiar with. So I'm taking my time. I've actually never seen the Benoni from this move order. Yeah, you can see like I'm explaining myself a little bit why I'm taking so long. So yeah, d5, it's of course the move, but They take, which is not entirely expected. I thought maybe we'd see b5, which is a more critical line. Yeah, they play bishop d6. Now, I knew that was not correct. They kind of had to play d6. I put my knight on c3. It's actually kind of interesting. I could have gone e4 in one go. Because knight takes e4, bishop d3, knight f6, and just castle. And after castles, bishop g5, I have a lot of compensation for the pawn. But I didn't play like that. Instead, I just put my knight on c3, and I'm like, I'm gonna go e4 on the next move. So they go a6, and I'm thinking I kind of have to play a4, because I shouldn't be allowing them to play b5. So they castle, and I go e4. The placing of black's pieces just doesn't make a lot of sense, like, because they haven't played d6, nothing can come to the d7 square, so they have a really rough time developing. Here I played bishop d3. I did take a second to think about it, because it looked like they could just take on e4 anyway for a second, because if I take back they can to play f5, but I realized that would kind of be a horrible move. So yeah, they go queen c7, they form this battery. That battery is just mostly useless. I mean, a knight on f3 covers h2, so I can just castle. I was quickly thinking if maybe that was a better move, but with the rook on the 8, I really should just get castles real quick. But okay, bishop g5 is definitely a move to consider here. There's more people talking in the background this time, because I'm near a busy board. And there's some Russian. So I do apologize if I decide to castle. So they really mishandled this opening, because in the Benoni you're down so much space. These sort of strategic, like, piece maneuverings get very important. So I'm taking my ass off the board, mostly just to sort of figure out what was going on. But like I was saying, these strategic piece maneuvers are important, meaning that if you're not setting up in the correct way, you can just very quickly find yourself in a terrible position, as does my opponent right now. Wouldn't be chess without hearing Russian in the background. Yeah, I just forgot I said that. Yes. I mean, I already have center. Why they not resigning? I mean, like, what more do you want? You're down on space, your pieces can't develop, you should just resign. So yeah, I play bishop g5. So yeah, my opponent here played a move I really didn't anticipate. I was pretty sure they would play like knight g4, pawn h3, and then they put a knight on e5. Instead they go for knight h5, which this really set me off. Like, something is smelling here. Something smells fishy, and it's not stock fish. The reason why I'm thinking that is because the knight is now undefended, and it looks like I could very quickly get some pieces to the king side and maybe play moves like e5. The immediate pawn e5 is actually the top line of the engine. I decided to play rook e1, which is also good, but yeah, e5, what a beautiful little move. So I play h6. Which makes sense. Now I could go for e5, hit in the bishop, and let's say if the bishop takes, the knight takes, and now the knight on h5 is hit. But I thought, well, maybe I kind of want to keep my dark square bishop for some sort of attack. So then it's a decision about where do I put it. I didn't think I want to put it on e3 to block my rook, and well, d2 makes even less sense. So I was thinking maybe like rook bishop back to c1, but then I was thinking like, no, why am I doing that? At some point I decided that, well, bishop h4 is just like so much simpler. Like, and now I'm threatening e5, and there's honestly not much you can do about it. So I play bishop h4. Okay, so they move the bishop. It made sense at some point, right? Like e5 is coming in to hit it with tempo, and they really do need to put that pawn on d6. But at this point, like, all my pieces are ready for war. There's just absolutely nothing you can do about it. So yeah, what is the most natural move here? Well, e5. And honestly, only move I was calculating. It's been my plan for a while now. The main thing to think about here is, well, first of all, they can move the knight away from h5. So let's say to f4. Then what do? Well, I figured like queen d4 is pretty nice there. The alternative is pawn d6. So yeah, they ended up playing d6, and I'm thinking like, okay, let me just play e6 and you're everything this week. Notice, by the way, and these are common, like, recurring patterns in chess. There are currently two undefended pieces, both the knight on h5 and the rook on the 8. An explosion just went off in the background. You can tell it's almost New Year's. People have some excess fireworks now, I suppose. You probably couldn't hear that, but whatever. So yeah, pawn e6. And the whole thing is, they can't really take because bishop g6 is there, exploiting the fact that both the rook and the knight are hanging. So they take, and they probably only really figured I would take back, but this isn't checkers. Captures aren't forced. It's a really nice motif, honestly. They weakened the diagonal. I had my bishop there to exploit it. Nothing special, but I just think it's nice when just a lot of plans work well together. So yeah, they throw in this capture. It doesn't really do anything. And then knight f6. I can take the rook. Great commentary.
Good.
Also, some guy is explaining chess to someone. Some guy was explaining chess to this poor girl, but she was destroying him, which is really funny. Like, oh, let me show you how to play chess, my fair maiden. And meanwhile, they suck. So those were two of the games I played. There weren't a lot of, like, particularly strong opponents. Which is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it was pretty fun though. I got to play some Atomic afterwards, and I played some 960. There was this one kid who was rated like 1900 or something. Unfortunately, I did forget to record, but they essentially just kind of fell for some opening trap. They lost their queen. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a bit strange. Normally I'd make stuff very differently than this, but I thought, I kind of want to play some chess, and I didn't want to like go outside, God forbid. So yeah, YouTube thinks you like this video over here, so you should watch it. Do it. And I'll see you beautiful people later. Bye bye.